Hello, good morning. What I have to say today um, speaks more to the difference, or rather, the influence of AI and original human intelligence on each other. Now, when I say original human intelligence, it's from the natural intelligence, original intelligence. It's from the human biological make, Prakriti. And when I say AI, it's with things, technologies, everything that's developed from human thinking processes. And humans have evolved over several cycles of evolution, where computers were formed, internet was formed, and now we have mass communication means. And there are things that we don't already know. Artificial intelligence is a word, phrase coined by a neuroscientist who is also inquiring into technology, working with computers, algorithms. So it's also an attempt to understand the human condition, but it's also attempting to understand intellect and what is intelligence. Now, over time, I happen to be studying the human body as a specialty and life. And what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be alive? And to also see why does humanity go off and a little mechanical and then sometimes even boring. So I happen to be thinking these thought lines. There is this movie called Jurassic Park, in which they're saying life always finds a way. So when technologies have been developing through several cycles of evolution, excuse me, I've got a little bit of sniffles. Um, Now there have been several past archaeological evidences for different kinds of civilizations haven't been there. Egyptian, Mesopotamian, yeah, Indus Valley civilization. Archaeological discoveries say there have been different kinds of technology. There are also hieroglyphics, wall carvings, rock carvings, talking about their own means of documenting um, discoveries, developments, their ways of living. And different people are in different stages of decoding what those languages mean, what the hieroglyphics mean. As of this morning, when I started the day, now it's about 5, yeah, I practiced what I call as movementless yoga. Or rather, it's a body-based, no exercises, asanas, elaborate poses, none of that. It's Samaya-based Shri Vidya practice, but it's also a way to maintain the human body that I have. From a, well, it's a different practice of maintaining Kundalini or fertility of body, the what I call as life and limiting capabilities. Or it's a recalibration. So I'm being more me and functioning more as me and a human me at that. So all fine, beautiful. And then I come and sit in front of the computer. And in front of the computer, excuse me, there is the light effect. There is the type of computer I'm using, which means the screen, the lens used on the screen, which has its own diffraction, refraction properties from the light that is already there from the computer. So it's been discovered um, Faraday's equations have been looked at in different ways and have been seen that light has magnetic properties, yes, but the magnetic properties affects the substrate it is interacting with, which means the human body also is affected by the light, by the magnetic properties of light affecting the human body. And when the lens, the camera, the screen, computers use different lens. For example, the Apple Surface I'm using has a certain crystalline kind of a um, screen. When the sunlight is, for example, hitting on the screen, you'll see a rainbow and many angles. So it's a super technology, quite a good technology that the screen has been made from, versus other screens. Yeah. I have used Dell, I've used HP, so their screens are different. And light diffracts, refracts through these lenses and then affects my body, which is then functioning at its own rhythms, my own body's body clock rhythms. And each person have their own body clock rhythms, pace at which their body functions. So it's not the same for all human beings. So technology has been affecting how I say things, what I say, in what perspectives. There's something else there. The software I'm using, different kinds of software have their own intelligence because each software comes from their own companies. Zoom, for example, has the Zoom company logic. Google Meet has Google company logic. Apple FaceTime has Apple intelligence logic. Different companies have their own intelligence. Similarly, every human being had their own body intelligence because of where they come from, where they have grown up, what kind of food they eat, what kind of choices they make. They may be in the same household, but each person have their own likes and dislikes, choices, gender differences, um, color preferences. So each person is unique in their own ways. And these unique human beings are affected by the light from the computer or the screen that we're working from. If you're looking at a small screen like a phone, okay, that has a smaller screen, smaller light effect. And I use Apple, iPhone, and Android. Desktop also I use Apple and, well, other than Apple, Dell, Lenovo. So there are different screens that have their own effect. And then I move from one place to another, which is what a phone, a laptop makes available. You're not sitting at a desktop alone, you're carrying your work with you, different places. And different geodesimal locations on Earth have their own electromagnetic effect on the same human body. And the human body is not the same through the day. Morning time, sunlight, planet light, galaxy, what have you, light have their effect on the same human body. Afternoon time, the intensity, the different pollution, for example, in the air from traffic, what food I eat one day versus the previous day would not be the same. And so, what information am I processing in also from today's itinerary, in my calendar list, excuse me, whom I interact with, what I talk, what do I create today? All of that affects the same human body, but it's not the same human body, affected by light differently. So from moment to moment, I'm talking morning, afternoon, evening, night, different light effects, different influences from the environment, what I do per time. Now, I'm one person, there are many people. So it's a lot of bits of information. But how they play out, I'm not the same person interacting with the same surface. Yeah. The softwares inside are different. You see, there's a certain correlation here. It's the same body, apparently, but the software inside is different. Now, difference between artificial intelligence, things based, for example, screens, and natural, is that natural is more changing through the day, morning, afternoon, evening, through the days, because it's biodynamic, it's interactive and changing with different influences. Whereas the computer has a certain appearance. Okay, a human body also has a certain appearance. But the screen, the software that are not differently changing. Um, there are certain software and then there are updates made from inside, from the company based. So the hardware is the same. The software is changing in terms of a screen. Yeah. Whereas in natural, the hardware and software is changing. Okay. So that may seem like a lot of information, but also how the hardware and software in a natural human beings is recalibrated and updated is also different. Some people take care of their health. For example, yoga, do asanas, some people aerobics, dance, gym. I happen to recalibrate my own human body such that, for example, I'm not aging so much. In the sense, age is advanced glycation and products. So the effect of sugar in my body or different biochemicals on my body and the effect of light, for example, the screen light or different kinds of light on my body. And then so that my body clock is recalibrated to be me and to be human. Otherwise, I become other than me. Other than human, well, the 2 years of the pandemic brought some microbial influence, which then had different people think about microbes differently, about health differently. And I recalibrate my system. And over time, I also discovered my human body, just like everybody else's, body itself formed from different kind of microbes and plants and animals having their own influence in the human body make. Now, I've been saying the human body seems to be like a cross between microbes, plants, and animals. And I said this at a time before I knew about any of this idea of endosymbiosis. Yeah. And so my research and development and my findings seems to be quite on track. And how much is what is so much more amazing. I also discovered that a human body, what's been called a combination of Prakriti and Purusha, Prakriti also means scriber, like transcriber, scriber. Pen scribes, prakriti. Yeah, you scribe, script. So a body writes stories. It's kind of like a prayer. Prayer also has pra, pra. Yeah, prakriti, prayer. Yeah, by simply being alive, which means without even talking, through the circadian rhythms of our body is writing and informing the fabric of time and space of our own stories. And we need to regularly clean the slate, so to speak, or improve the stories, which means we need to learn to recalibrate our own bodies. And there is a way to do it. Aerobics, yoga, different kinds of practices have been, in their own ways, recalibrating our own body by how each person takes care of their health. And I have a movementless method of yoga, which also includes Tattva Shuddhi and Vishachikitsa, and also recalibrating my own body clock from the effects from different kinds of, well, social media influences, screen, light, what have you, influences. So that I'm maintaining being me and maintaining originally being me. Otherwise, I become like everybody else or like somebody else or anything else. And then who's going to do my nothing? I have been improving nothing for the better. And as I discovered, nothing is at the heart of everything, and improving nothing for the better improves everything for the better. So I have a person-centered model of the universe. And I've been improving my own body as nothing. And as I improve nothing for the better, like ground zero, everything becomes better for the better. Yeah. So I hope this video gives you pause for thought. At least long enough for you to contact me or leave a comment or let me know what you think. And there are ways from my mighty suite of solutions for how to recalibrate better artificial and original human intelligence. Because we are all on the same planet, thankfully. Because can you imagine the amount of chaos if we are in different planets and had to, recalibrate the whole thing? That would be quite something. So, nature, very intelligent design, which is why we've all been on the same planet in some time. Because technology has been one of the banes, and we don't know what it means to be human to begin with. And that's what I'm covering through Mighty Suite of Solutions. I have what I call as mighty conscience that kind of um, calibrates, kind of has different thought lines collated in a particular manner and can be updated. And there is a certain number that I've arrived at. I don't know if that's the critical mass, if that's sufficient, if there are some more circles to be put. But right now, something is being developed, something has been sustainably being present, and that's working. There are layers and then adding up from there. So I will update all of those details for better visibility, better appreciability. Um, you can't just cook something and then put it on the table and then say, now what do you think this is going to be? Or what this is? Yeah. So um, I'll come to that a little bit. Yeah. So I'm working on presenting the matter, but it's so many years of work. Yeah. And then I put something and then I discovered, oh, I haven't said this. And this little thing is from several years ago. So I got to then rewrite the origins and then the fine details of it and then include that into this um, in the presentation of the matter. So clarifying the matter is taking a little bit of time, but work is in progress. I've been saying about it. So it's also a kind of an update on what's happening on my end. But screen time and human intelligence, if you can be aware of how technology, when you're in front of a screen versus off screen, how is your bodily composition? If you can appreciate that, that would be a value that is possible to be had from watching this video. Thank you so much for your kind interest. Good day.